Hi there, it's Tuesday the 5th of May 2020. Hope you're doing okay. This week we're looking at different types of prayer. I hope you realise that there are different kinds of prayer that achieve different results and are for different purposes. Just as there are different types of jigsaw blade for an electric jigsaw, whether it's cutting through metal or wood or plasterboard, so there are different types of prayer. And this week we're looking at 5 different types of prayer as demonstrated in the life of Nehemiah. Yesterday we were looking at the prayer of intercession, which is to pray on behalf of other people, and we can do that very effectively. And today we're thinking about the prayer of assistance. It's the prayer that we pray when we are asking God for help. Now here's a question for you. How good are you at asking for help? I'm not sure we're all very good at asking for help. Sometimes we're a bit too proud or a bit too embarrassed. I know as a guy, I'm not very good at asking for help, especially if I'm lost and having to ask for directions. Somehow it seems to make me feel less of a man, or I don't know what it is, but it's difficult asking for help. The other day my ankle, which I've got arthritis in, was very sore and I wasn't able to get up and about very much, and I had to ask Ruth, my wife, for help to go and get my slippers and bring them to me, and it just felt embarrassing to ask for help. But you know, it's a good thing for us to ask for help because we all need help. We all need assistance at different times in our life. No man is an island. And perhaps during this lockdown period, more than any other, we're having to ask for help and ask for assistance like never before. And that's good for us. It keeps us humble, it keeps us connected to other people, it makes us realise that we are all part of the human race together and that we need one another. And you know, that's how God has made life to be. He has made us to need each other. When God made Adam, he said it wasn't good for Adam to be alone, and he made Eve for Adam so that they could be together, so that people can be together. So what can we learn about the prayer of assistance from Nehemiah as he asked for help? Well, chapter 2 verse 4, this is when he asked for help. He is in exile, he's in a foreign land, he's serving the foreign king, and he's wanting to ask the king for permission to go back to his homeland and help them to rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, which had been knocked down and burned down. And it says in chapter 2 verse 4, the king said to me, "What is it you want?" Then I prayed to the God of heaven and I answered the king. Now that's interesting. Nehemiah didn't pray until he was actually in the situation. And the king said to him, "What is it you want?" And in that split second, and only for a few seconds, Nehemiah prayed in his heart quietly to himself, probably something along the lines of, "Oh God, help me, grant me favour here." And then he answered the king. He didn't go away somewhere else to pray. He just did it in those few seconds. So what can we learn from that? Well, 3 things. First of all, a prayer of assistance is often short. And it needn't be long. Sometimes people think that your prayers have to be long in order for them to be heard, to be of a certain quality or a certain length of time, and that's not true. In fact, Jesus once said of people who were standing on the street corners praying a lot of time, they're just uttering empty words. He said, when you pray, make it to the point. Speak to your Father. Say what it is you have to say. Don't make up flowery words. So when you're asking for assistance, it can be very short. It can simply be help. You can be in a situation where something is happening and you don't know what to do, and instantly you just pray, "Oh Lord, help me." When my son was knocked down, when he was just a little boy, the first thing that my wife said was, "Oh God, help." That was the first thing that came out of her mouth. And that's because that's what was in her heart. What comes out of our mouth shows what's in our heart. And if you know God and you have a relationship with him, then the first thing that you will say is, "Lord, help me," when you're in a situation where you need help. So a prayer of assistance is short. Secondly, it's secret. You don't have to tell anybody. You don't have to let anybody know that you're praying and asking for God for help. You can just do it quietly in yourself. You can mutter it under your breath. You can just say it into yourself, and God will hear that prayer, just as Nehemiah did. "Oh God, help me." So a prayer of assistance is short, it is secret, and thirdly, it's successful. Nehemiah's prayer was granted, and he was granted that permission by the king to go back to his homeland. And when we pray and ask for God for help, he hears us and he helps us, because God is our help. He is our refuge. He is our help in times of trouble. So pray a prayer of assistance. Ask God for his help, and he will be there to help you. Talk to you again tomorrow about another prayer. God bless.